What are we seeing, and what is it going to take for it to ease?
Yeah, and so you are seeing over 70 container ships still waiting right now at the port of Long Beach. But that's not the whole story. There's actually over 130 container ships waiting at U.S. ports. So the East Coast has some traffic congestion. Seattle, you're seeing similar things. And actually, it's even worse than that. If you go over to China, you'll see even more container ships, 90 waiting in Shanghai. What it means is that we estimate around 20% of all the container ships on the Pacific Ocean right now are just sitting there waiting idle, unable to unload. What that means is massive delays. I think a lot of companies are going to miss Christmas season. Their cargo is just sitting there in the water. Very high prices because, of course, if you reduce the supply of shipping, that leads to really high prices. And it's just kind of a mess. I think businesses are really going to struggle with this right now.
Yeah, I mean, 20% of ships, when you put it into context, you're talking about ships that are carrying thousands, in some cases, of containers filled with inventory and goods. So it's quite a staggering number. What is this doing to freight rates right now?
Yeah, so, well, the price of freight, if you think like long-term kind of rule of thumb, it's usually like $2,000 to ship a container. It's more like $3,000 if it's door-to-door from Asia to the United States. Right now, those rates are $10,000 just port to port. And much more for the trucking, so it's more like $15,000. And by the way, that's if you can get loaded. Even if you pay those prices, you may not find a slot, and you might be delayed for months and months. If you want to guarantee loading, it's more like $20,000 to ship a container. So just astronomical inflation in ocean freight rates.
Yeah, Ryan, it's David. I mean, this is sort of a worldwide emergency. I just wonder what can be done, if anything, through cooperation, through governments or shippers. I don't know. But what would you have done right now to try to ameliorate what is a significant problem for the world economy?
Yeah, I mean, I do think you're looking at a real market failure here, and therefore I think there is a role for government to step in. There's some simple things, because that's hard to do. It's hard to motivate, it's hard to move. But there's some simple things that companies can do right now. So Flexport's a technology platform for global logistics. One of the things we've learned by looking at all the containers, we ship about 600,000 containers a year through our platform. When we analyze the data, we see that on average, they're only 70% full. So there's actually a lot of empty space inside these containers. And companies that are being smart about this are on our platform are starting to stuff their containers and make sure they're doing a good job using every inch of that container on the inside. So that's a simple solution. It doesn't take a lot of work, but I'm not sure that solves the problem. We're talking about something that's really big, really macro scale. The simple answer at a government level, right now, these ports are not working 24/7 in the United States. Someone needs to come in and work the night shift. I think the union needs help. I think there's a role here for government to step in and say, look, we got to unload these ships. It's a national security issue at this point. It's real, putting our economy at risk. And the union needs help. There are not enough workers. The contracts for overtime are making it uneconomical for the port. And the government has to step in and go, hey, we're going to run this thing 24/7. We'll pay it. We'll find a way. I'm not sure if there's political will for that. It's way in over my head to even comment on it. But that's got to be the solution at this point.
Yeah, all right, but it's funny. We don't talk too often with you about your company. It's a private company right now, but it's got a very significant valuation in the private market. I mean, I would assume much of this is good for Flexport, is it not, Ryan?
I think it's hard to say that. We're really struggling to meet our customer demand right now. Our customers are suffering from really high prices and slow delivery times. And we always pride ourselves on being a customer-centric company. And right now, customers are pretty upset, and not just at Flexport, the whole industry. It's like how we're not fulfilling our promises. And frankly, it's hard for us to get capacity to serve their needs and grow. So it's really put a cap on how much we can grow this year. We only grew our volumes 40% year over year, where we had to turn away volume that would have let us grow more like 70%. We could have got the space.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.